taking everything in me to not do what I'm about to do, but I have to do it. I just have to. Brace yourselves. War games! If you know, you know. But if you don't know, because I know some people don't, which is really crazy, but, you know, NXT War Games was a thing where War Games was strictly in NXT. And William Regal was the GM. He would come out and he'd be like, yo, War Games! Very iconic thing for people who know about that. Very iconic thing. So, you know, we're clearly setting up for War Games. And there was a lot of speculation where I saw a lot of people thought we would do the Wyatts and the MFTs. I never thought that, if I'm being honest, and no diss towards them or anything, but I feel like War Games, particularly, you see, like, the top talent, like, top stars in War Games matches, I've noticed throughout the years, and I'm not saying they're not important, but that was never kind of my guess of what direction we're headed in, because I also thought with Seth Rollins being there, and then you having the two Brons, you had a perfect storyline there, you know, with them doing that. But, you know, Seth Rollins got injured, so now things pivoted clearly, and now Logan Paul is there. Now, I wasn't crazy about Logan Paul coming out in the beginning of the show, because it's just, and I know wrestling is, you know, storyline, things are written out, but I like things to be believable to an extent, you know? For me, Logan Paul coming out and, like, fake joining CM Punk, trying to decide to help him out, no. I was like, what is this? You know, and then he ultimately, you know, turns on him, joins Paul Heyman and the Brons, what have you. And it's a clear indication for me, you know, this is going to be our War Game setup. So, another thing with even saying that War Game setup, you know, Jey Uso, that whole CM Punk dynamic kind of threw me off too, because Jey was very, like, selfish, and that was like, one team, whatever. And I'm like, okay, but here we are. So War Games, you know, obviously we have the Brons, who are menaces to society, and we have Logan Paul as of right now. And going off of that, you have Jey Uso, you have CM Punk, because they just got laid out. Those are your two opposing teams at the moment. Now, I've been thinking, and to me, I easily could see CM Punk, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns on that team. And I say that, and I have a certain way I think it's going to play out as well. I think what happens is, you know, for months, decades even, the Vision, they have been menaces to society, very, we're going to start the show, we're going to end the show, we're going to lay out people, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And with the Vision being the menaces, I'm not going to call them the Vision anymore, the Brons, you know, because the Vision is, the glasses are broken, you know, it's blurry out there. So, you know, with the Brons, basically, I see them continuing to do this, and I see them continuing to do it with Logan. You know, Logan Paul clearly wants CM Punk's title, and it's like, okay, I can align with you two, and I think we're just gonna get, for, you know, War Games is like maybe 3 weeks. I think for maybe a week, 2 weeks, we'll get them kind of laying them out for sure. And obviously, you know, with that happening, you know, CM Punk and Jey are going to be mad they got laid out. Easily, Jimmy Uso was the first one on the team, because it's like, he's cool with CM Punk, and then it's like, Jey, this is his brother, you know? So I think he comes in first. And then I think we get to a point where somehow, I don't know how in my mind yet how it'll play out, somehow they're going to do something to LA Knight. Or something's going to happen to LA Knight. And I think LA Knight is going to be so fed up that he's going to be like, hey guys, I want in, I want to join the team, and blah, blah. And then I think they're going to be down and outnumbered. And I'm going to get to the other side on who I think is going to be on that team. I think they're going to be down and out. They're going to be outnumbered. And then we're going to hit that do. And then Roman Reigns is going to come out and save the day. And I kind of think Roman is going to come the week of War Games. Because I feel like they're going to maybe do a War Games and be like, oh, we're outnumbered, blah, blah. And then Roman's going to come. And then it's just like, you're not outnumbered. The OTC is here. The OTC, blah, blah. You know, and we're going to get this whole thing. Now, Paul Heyman's team. So we have 3 people. We have Logan. We have the Brons. 3 people. With Paul, my obvious go-to is Brock Lesnar. Because, you know, if we're going storyline-wise, that's his guy. And also the last time we saw them together, you know, he introduced Brock at WrestlePalooza. And then the SmackDown before that, Brock said, we need to talk. And, you know, if I'm being honest, I thought Brock Lesnar was just coming back to do John Cena's, one of his retirement matches and kind of be a part of that. I didn't think Brock was going to be like back. But, you know, they had that WrestleMania teaser thing or whatever that had everybody scratching their heads. And, you know, Brock Lesnar is in it, which really surprised me. So it's like Brock's here, you know? So, you know, I would assume Brock is going to be kind of, you know, hey, need you to come through and throw some people, suplex city some people easily. Obvious pick for me. This is where things get tricky. My other two people that I could see Gunther. I could see Gunther returning because you have that beef there with Jey Uso and especially CM Punk. You know, Gunther lost the title to Jey Uso and people kind of mock him now. So he want to beat him down for sure. You have CM Punk. He, you know, feuded with him even though CM Punk didn't have the title that long. But, you know, still Gunther got beaten by CM Punk. And we haven't really seen Gunther on TV. You know, I know he's allegedly injured and everything of that nature. I kind of feel like he's cleared now. But I could see Gunther making a return. And I also think Gunther's going to be John's last opponent. So I think he's going to come back anytime soon. But Gunther would be my pick. You kind of have a storyline you could work in with that. And I could also see Paul Heyman maybe, you know, trying to do his little shenanigans of, oh, you know, if you join us, I'll talk to Adam Pearce and maybe get you a rematch and CM Punk and da-da. I know you don't like him. And then, you know, you have Jay and Jimmy and you just have the dynamic there for Gunther to want to go beat down the ops, you know. My next person, I don't know how they could really work this because I've really been trying to think of who they could get because when you look at it and you look at the team, it's like they don't get along with anybody. You know, they've kind of just been laying people out left and right for weeks. So it's like Paul Heyman would really have to like lock in, hey, you want to be on the winning team? Now, my other one, whole different brand, we're going to go. I could see Drew McIntyre maybe. And I would say Drew McIntyre because you have the animosity there with kind of the whole team, if I'm being honest. You know, Drew has a whole story with the bloodline, really, you know, so that's 3 people knocked off, you know, with Jay, Jimmy, and Roman. And then, you know, him and CM Punk have beef. You have Jay and, you know, LA Knight. He has beef with everyone on the team, literally. And that's another thing of a promise for me because, you know, Drew has just not been able to catch a belt. You know, it's always something that happens. He never just gets... It's just sad. It's a sad world. But, you know, Drew never gets the opportunity. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Heyman makes his way to SmackDown. Hey, you want to go beat up all these people I know you can't stand? Easily could throw in, you know, all the things Drew has been through with the bloodline. Because Drew, you know, watching Drew, he talks about it a lot, especially when him and Cody beef. He's like, you know, I don't like that family, this and that. And he's always feuding with them. Even Jimmy, you know, if we go off of a recent storyline with the bloodline in a sense. You know, he does the whole Jacob Fatu thing where he's being blamed, but also you have Jimmy. Jimmy's just no surefire evidence. He makes his way to SmackDown and is just stomping out Drew McIntyre backstage constantly. So that's a viable option for me too. I don't know for sure because when I really sit and try to think of other people, I'm like, who else could they get? But it's like if we're going to go off storyline and history, I could see Gunther, I could see Drew McIntyre, I could see Brock Lesnar. And I think that WarGames match would be crazy. It would be crazy. I'm excited, you know, and obviously, you know, I know a lot of people like hate Logan Paul in this situation, but I think, if I'm being honest, I think it's a good decision, if I'm being honest, in a sense of just throwing someone in because they had to, right? Because Seth Rollins got injured. I honestly could have saw it being the Vision versus like a whole nother team. I don't think they had plans to probably break up the Vision at all yet. And I feel like that's why it happened so quickly. I feel like they were probably going to get tag titles and do a whole thing, kind of, if I'm being honest. But, you know, Seth got injured and that kind of makes everything just kind of like, okay, now what? And I think I'm saying in a sense of Logan Paul working because the Vision already have heat in a sense of like people knowing their heels, not liking them situation. Who better to throw into that role than a Logan Paul. People despise Logan Paul. And, you know, I see stuff people say about him and whatnot, but one thing I will give him, I think Logan Paul is a great heel. Like, I've always felt that way. You know, I put my differences to the side at times and just looking at it, even in a sense of being a wrestling fan. You have a guy who's known for just, like, you know, vlogging, YouTubing, what have you, content creation. And he's come into wrestling, and I think he's done a great job at doing it in terms of somebody that has no background in it, you know? He's come in, he's got people to hate him. He's a good heel. I enjoy Logan Paul's matches, if I'm being honest, especially knowing that, like, he has no wrestling background and he's just boom, 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 and it's just, like, no misses. I get why they would put Logan Paul in to fill in for Seth. The way they did it, I'm not crazy about, because, you know, I feel like they could have gone a different route than kind of teasing Logan Paul maybe being a babyface, because, again, make me believe. That's not believable one bit, because when he came out, I was just like, because if I'm being honest, I thought, if anything, I thought Jey Uso would super kick CM Punk after. I thought CM Punk and Jey would win their match against the Brons on Monday. Jey Uso would super kick CM Punk, and then it's kind of like we build this whole maybe Jey's a heel situation, but we're going a different route. And I'm excited to see what happens. My only thing, I kind of hope it's not like a thing we've been getting for the last few months with, like, the Brons and Logan kind of standing tall constantly. Because it's like, we've been saying this for months now. You know, they start off Raw, they close Raw. And it does get a bit stale at times. So I hope we go a different route in that aspect. But, you know, overall, I don't see Logan Paul staying a part of the vision or anything. I think, if anything, it's just for WarGames and maybe to push him more to the title. I would be shocked, honestly, if Logan Paul... Oh my gosh, this probably will be Drew McIntyre. The way I just had that realization. Because Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre were a whole thing. He could easily go and ask Drew to help him. The realization right while talking. Oh my gosh. If I called that, that's going to be nuts. But yeah. Okay, but yeah. But what do you guys think? Who do you think is gonna be the members for the WarGames teams? You know, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see what people think, because there's a lot of ways this can go, honestly, at this rate. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm just laughing because that realization was crazy. Thank you for watching as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.